Welcome back to Arts Weekly. Joining me is J.L. Nave III, President and CEO of the Fort Wayne Philharmonic. Good to have you back on the show.
Thanks. Glad to be back.
So this is the end of the first year of Andrew Constantine's reign as music director. And how are things going at the Philharmonic?
Things are going great at the Philharmonic. Having Andrew on board now has just really breathed this new great creativity, energy, inspiration into the orchestra. And I think, especially as we end his first full season as music director, people are really beginning to notice some changes at the Phil.
Indeed, there are many really cool changes. The Casual Fridays, for the Casual Signature Series, I believe it's called.
Right.
And a lot of other things that he's really brought to the table that I think is kind of mixing it up very nicely.
Yeah, the programming, but also the orchestra members are really happy, really excited to be performing under Andrew's direction as well.
It's good to have happy musicians.
It's always good to have.
They play better that way.
They play better. Everybody's happy when the musicians are happy. So. And we've got some pretty happy musicians right now.
That's good, and some very good musicians at that. But what is the history of the Fort Wayne Philharmonic? How long have you been in business? And tell us a little bit about the changes that have happened over the years.
Sure. Well, we're actually in our 66th season here in Fort Wayne. We had our first performance in October of 1944. But before that, there had been an orchestra in Fort Wayne starting as far back as 1928. And what happened around the early 40s, there were about 20 musicians who got together and decided they wanted to have a new conductor. And so they signed a petition and gave it to the board of directors, asking the board to go get a new or different conductor. Well, the current conductor found out about it and fired every musician who signed that petition. And so those 20 musicians plus the sympathetic board members got together and formed what is today the Fort Wayne Philharmonic.
It's kind of interesting, formed in 1944. There was a war going on. An interesting time to start an orchestra.
But 66 seasons later, we're still here.
Well, you know, it's really a fine orchestra, and I think if people don't know it, they should know that these are professional musicians. They're paid musicians at the top of their field, correct?
Oh, absolutely. We have 41 full-time musicians. These are, meaning that they're paid a salary to perform with the Fort Wayne Philharmonic. And I was talking with our principal harpist today, and she said that the last time there was a harp position in an orchestra open, it's been several years. I think she said it's been at least 10 years. And when that position opened up, there were over 200 people that applied for that position. So getting, especially at this level and at larger orchestras, it's incredibly competitive to win a seat in the orchestra.
Every time I go to a Philharmonic concert, I have to sit there and wonder and say, how many cities of our size have an orchestra as good as this? And not many cities can say that. So, hats off to you on that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, a lot of people have worked very hard to build and maintain the orchestra that we have here in Fort Wayne.
So we talked a little bit about the Philharmonic's past, how it began, and certainly it's grown immensely since it began. You now have over 45 permanent musicians. But where do you see it going? And what kind of changes do you and Andrew want to make?
Well, one of the things that we really see, because we perform in 13 counties right now, Allen County and 12 others in northeastern Indiana, what we have our sights set on is expanding that to as many as 22 counties per year. We do a lot of activity here in Fort Wayne and inside Allen County, but we really see some great opportunity outside of Allen County as well. We're not looking to diminish what we're doing here, but we're looking to grow what we do out in the region. And we're looking at places like Coldwater, Michigan, and Van Wert, Ohio, as well as
the Niswonger.
The Niswonger is an incredible performing arts center over there. And so we're really looking to expand our regional presence.
Well, I agree, and I think the more people can hear good music, especially from an orchestra like this, the better. One of the unique things that you do as well is you reach out to children and build new audiences. And you not only have the youth orchestra that you run, but you go out to a lot of schools. You might be a lot of child's only exposure to classical music, especially with the cuts in the schools, and we don't want to get into that, but that's true.
Well, we perform over 300 times in area schools, preschool, mainly preschool and elementary school, but we give over 300 performances per year with our ensembles that go out. So groups of 3 or 4 or 5 musicians going out into the schools, into these pre-K centers, the Head Start, those types of places, and performing, bringing the music to the children, interacting with the children, getting them excited about listening to music.
And I just want to reiterate, in this day and age, that might be either the first or the only, hopefully not the last, but the only exposure to music up to that point in a child's life, to a musical tradition that has lasted for centuries and centuries and centuries. And a lot of people don't know that about the Philharmonic.
Well, and I dare say that many of the people watching this show tonight, hopefully, if they grew up in Fort Wayne, or maybe in whatever city that they grew up in, will remember going to the orchestra, going to the concert hall, going to the embassy, and hearing the Fort Wayne Philharmonic or their local orchestra when they were in school. And we perform in front of between 5,000 and 6,000 fifth graders just in Allen County alone every year at the embassy.
I just can't imagine how you kept all those fifth graders quiet enough to listen to the concert. But
it's captivating music.
But along those lines, you have some very interesting things coming up for our younger audiences, and that's part of the tradition of the Philharmonic. You have the video games live bonus round.
Bonus round, that's right.
Which I think adds a little bit more excitement to the fact that it's a bonus round. But tell us a little bit about that.
We did this show 3 years ago, Video Games Live, and for those people that play online games, there's music, and there's this great music that is playing actually in the foreground for the most part, really adding, think about a movie soundtrack and how the music really adds to what's happening on the screen, and video games are very much that way as well. And
lots of special effects.
Special effects, and really how the music helps set the mood for whether it's a peaceful scene or an action scene. And so we're taking that music that is in not just current video games, but even some earlier games like Pac-Man and Frogger and Donkey Kong.
Now you're dating us, Jake.
Yeah, well, that's so. We really are looking at it. We have music from Halo, Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, which are games more current today.
It's just a great way to expose a kid again to music that he or she is familiar with, and this thing sells out.
Yeah, we sold out 3 years ago. There are video screens, so you can actually see images of the game while the music is being performed by a live orchestra.
On March 6th at the Embassy Theater.
March 4th.
March 4th at the Embassy Theater.
4th.
You also are working with Fame here in Fort Wayne on March 13th at the Convention Center. And, what are you doing there?
Well, we do an annual performance it's pretty much at the end of the Fame Festival. And we invite members of our youth orchestra program, along with members of the Fort Wayne Philharmonic, to perform this side-by-side concert. We partner with the Fort Wayne Ballet, who also performs with us as a part of that. And we have an original composition, basically a composition project that a composer and some area elementary school students work on together, and that piece is premiered at the Fame concert as well.
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
It's great, and we've done this collaboration with Fame for a number of years.
Yes. You mentioned the ballet. You're also working with the ballet on Coppelia, which is going to be on March 18th at the Arts United Center.
That's right, and we're with the ballet quite a bit in the month of March. And so we have Coppelia March 18, 19, and 20. We're doing 4 performances of this great ballet. And, there are a lot of cities, even cities that have professional ballet companies, that don't have the opportunity to see ballet performed with live music. It's often, unfortunately, performed with recorded music. But here in Fort Wayne,
live music.
There's a live orchestra in the pit playing with the ballet being performed, And we do that not just in the spring, but we do it with Nutcracker as well.
Well, another thing, and we're kind of out of time, that you're doing that's very interesting, and I'll just mention it right here. You're doing Science Fiction Fantasy, which is another concert for our younger audience. That's going to be on March 27th. It's part of the family series,
right.
And that's going to be here at IPFW. But JL, all the time we have now, it goes by so fast, but we really appreciate
There's never enough time to get through everything.
I know, but we really appreciate all the great work that you guys are doing at the Philharmonic.
Thank you.
For more information about the Fort Wayne Philharmonic, just visit fwphil.org or call 481-0777. Next week, PBS will be having their pledge drive, but you can still check us out on College Access Television Tuesday through Thursday. Arts Weekly can also be seen on YouTube and Facebook, and you can follow us on Twitter. I'm Chuck O'Connor. Thanks for tuning into Arts Weekly. Join me next week with guests Denise Bites and Brian Klizzled from the Fort Wayne Children's Choir and Tom Hoffrichter from the Fort Wayne Presbyterian Theater.